Hey guys, my name is RGB and in today's video, we're going to be redesigning the main 6 from My Little Pony Equestria Girls. Today we'll be drawing Twilight, Spike, Rarity and Applejack. Before we start, I need to point out that I made some small changes to the human universe, and the most notable ones are that now the setting is more fantasy rather than modern, and the characters keep their wings and tails. Magic is also dead, I think that's important to mention. I'll explain a little more in depth as we go through the redesigns. Quick reminder that this video is entirely for fun and I'm not in any way a My Little Pony expert, nor hate the original designs. So, the first ones I'll be drawing are, of course, Twilight and Spike. The first thing I want to say is that I think they did Spike so dirty for turning him into a dog. I know, it's convenient him being small and fitting into a backpack, but human Spike is also an interesting concept, and he could play a more important role this way. I gave Spike a mohawk to resemble his scales, and his hair has 2 different colored stripes to match Twilight's hair. Twilight's hair is messy and spiky in contrast to her usual style, just to portray how she's very disjointed in that different world. I knew from the start that I didn't want to give Twilight a skirt or a dress, so I didn't draw a second design trying out that style. I figured this more formal attire would suit her, and then I settled on a uniform-like idea. Spike was a little bit harder. I wasn't very sure if I wanted him to have a more wild look or not. Eventually, I made him match Twilight, so he also got a uniform-like outfit. Though a little less formal since he has this big hood/scarf around his neck. The reason why I made them wear a uniform instead of a more characterized outfit is because of the rewriting I did for the universe. You see, in this universe I made, magic is dead and people can't really use it. Because of that, there's Celestia's private academy that studies ancient and dead magic, and they're looking for a way to restore it. That's where Saitwai is in the first movie. Well, because magic is dead, Earth ponies and unicorns are pretty much on the same boat, while the Pegasi are the only one who are winning. I'm sorry. I wanted to give Spike wings, so, well, I did. I didn't want to draw Twilight's wings since the drawing could look very cluttered, so let's say she only activates the wings when she ponies up, differently from the others who always have them. Another thing is, I thought it would be ideal to keep the characters' designs simple, so they would be easy to animate but still resemble their pony counterparts. In all designs, I picked the outfits' colors from many different clothes they wore in the show and only desaturated them a little bit and mixed and matched. Well, now this is Twilight and Spike. When I was making the rewrite for the Equestria Girls movie, I thought it would be really fun if Saitwai was actually mentioned in the first movie, like before the end of it, and Twilight had to deal with the fact that is another herself, and she can't just walk around saying, "Hey, I'm Twilight Sparkle, nice to meet you," because it would kind of clash realities, and she really didn't want to do that. So my first idea was that she have a disguise that would be like Midnight Sparkle, and she just would have an arc of pretending to be someone else, so her identity wouldn't be uncovered. And I really wanted to draw a Midnight Sparkle. I know that is like the evil version of Saitwai, but anyways. It would be really fun. Maybe if you guys enjoyed this idea, I could work it on another video, but for now, it's kinda scrapped. I'm not going to do anything with it. A thing I wanted to point out is that in this world, magic is dead, and people are searching for a way to bring it back. So, the fact that Sunset Shimmer stole Twilight's crown, it makes magic slowly starts to reawaken and small disasters start to happen all around Canterlot. So everything she does has bigger consequences than what you would expect, and I think it would be really fun if everything she did caused a bigger impact and if she was more of a threat, because when I watched the movie for the first time, even if I was younger, I didn't really feel an imposing threat coming from Sunset Shimmer. I know it's a kids movie and we don't really need to make, big, strong, scary villains, but I think it would be really fun. Especially because in My Little Pony there are villains who actually make you scared for the main characters, because you feel like they can destroy the entire equestria and they are actually very dangerous. So I think it would be very interesting for the movie to have this kind of effect with Sunset Shimmer. Maybe little impacts on the civilians, them suffering with the disasters, not suffering like, oh, they're dying way, more in a inconvenience way, or in a like tripping and getting hurt, you know? I think it would be a very interesting twist. Let's go to Rarity. Rarity is the character I played around with ideas the most. Twilight and Applejack hairstyles and overall look are already pretty good, and I didn't think there was anything that needed to be changed, but with Rarity, every time I see a redesign of her, I'm always a bit let down by her hair. So, in my redesign, I tried to focus a lot in the shape of her hair, and I wanted to make it have a bigger impact on her entire figure. She was the first character I started working on, so you can see I did draw a bit more in her brainstorming phase. For her outfit, I was torn between dress and pants. There were two concepts, her dress with the long sleeves and the flare pants with high heels. Well, I ended up with the dress since I thought it would fit her more and it looked elegant and reserved, but not too over the top for daily activities. This specific color palette I picked from an image I found in her character gallery. Her little pouch on her waist has sewing supplies just in case she needs them. So, a thing about the story rewrite is that since there is no school, they're all adults, there's no high schoolers, Twilight's crown is found by an organizer of the Grand Galloping Gala. This Grand Galloping Gala has a competition on which the most notable person wins the crown and receives the title of Gala Star. Well, what makes you a notable person? What makes you a notable person are the votes you get and your fashion sense. Basically, how many votes you get and what clothes you're wearing at the gala. Overall, Twilight still needs to be crowned, but needs to work a little harder to please the fashion judges and quickly build a strong reputation to win Canterlot's citizen votes. In order to get the ticket, she would pretend to be Twi when speaking to Celestia. It's a bit risky, but she would end up getting the tickets to her friends. When it comes to the main six friend group, Rarity is the one who strayed away the furthest. Since in this world, I made Canterlot is where they live and Ponyville will be the interior of Canterlot. So Rarity moved away to Big Canterlot, while the rest of the main six live in a small Canterlot. Because of that, Rarity is the hardest to get to, but she is also a very important key character to the story. In the beginning, before I started looking at My Little Pony again, before making this video, I really didn't have great feelings about Rarity because she's always been the stereotypical fashion girl that is really fancy and annoying most of the time. But now that I'm looking back at it, I actually grew really fond of her for some reason, especially her relationship with Applejack, and that's why I decided to draw both Rarity and Applejack for this video. I really enjoyed their interactions, especially on that one sleepover episode. It's funny because while preparing to make this video, I actually watched a 1 hour long video that was a recap of everything that happened in My Little Pony, and to be fair, that was a lot of work for just a simple redraw video. But well, it was fun, it was a good experience, and I really hope you guys are enjoying it. Also, after finishing all the drawings, I noticed that Rarity's artwork looks a little bit more polished than all the other ones, but that isn't really true. I mean, that wasn't really my intention. I think her hair really attracts a lot of attention, especially with the highlights, which makes the other drawings look more simple. Well, and last but definitely not least, Applejack. I'll be honest with you, Applejack was the hardest to draw. Not because of her features or anything, but because I couldn't figure out how I wanted her to look. It was very difficult mixing the brown, green, and blue without it looking completely off. I know she also has a red accent color because of her cutie mark and all the apple thing, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And well, when I was designing her, it was already 1 AM and I had to go to sleep because I had to work the next day. I looked at some references of farmer clothes and tried to work around it. On the first try, I failed miserably because the way the colors distributed around the clothing pieces really looked off, and no matter how much I changed it, didn't look harmonious at all. I was set on working with farmer clothes because, as fashionable as cowboy clothes can be, the farmer made a bit more sense to me since Applejack isn't really a cowboy. Sorry, please don't kill me for that one. After a bit of trial and error and researching for more reference, I managed to choose something that worked just fine. I feel like Applejack was the design I rushed the most, so I'm really sorry, Applejack and Applejack enjoyers. But maybe if I ever make a second part, I could do another design of Applejack because she was really fun to draw. I think the fact she's like strong, big and strong, and her face is more, well, a little bit more masculine in my style, I would definitely draw her again. For this video, I really wanted to draw Celestia and Luna, especially because I think Luna's design in Equestria Girls is really atrocious, especially because she's one of my favorite ponies design, like she's so gorgeous, and they really did her dirty. Maybe if we ever get a second part, I could make the rest of the main 6 and plus Celestia and Luna. I don't know, it all depends on how this video performs, because if it performs well, dude, I'm going to draw all my little pony characters because I've always wanted to do that. A detail that I really enjoyed putting on her is the very subtle apple seed necklace she has. I don't know if everyone would be able to tell what it was supposed to be just by looking at it, but I mean, it's literally in her name, Apple, so how could she not have something related to Apple? Later on, when I was doing the line art, I decided to give her a little apple hairpin because, I mean, she needs to have an apple somewhere, right? I think that between all the main 6, Applejack and Fluttershy have always been pretty much my favorite ones. I'm not sure where Fluttershy is on my favorite scale right now because I haven't seen much of her to regain my memory, but Applejack still stays on the top. I can relate to the way she really cares about her family and pretty much does anything to help them with money. I'll be honest, I've never been an avid My Little Pony fan or enjoyer. I was one of the kids that were ashamed of liking it because, well, it was ponies. Of course it was weird. Needless to say that my mind changed a lot now, and I even want to watch the entire series since I've only saw a movie and some random episodes. I think it's sweet how the entire series is just about making friends, how making friends is great, and I really like the ponies' designs. I really like the strong, saturated color palette, so I definitely wanted to make this video for a really long time. I guess it was just the internalized My Little Pony love. I really like watching all the redesign videos. It's interesting to see what each person comes up with and the personal interpretation of the characters. I think that was definitely a big motivation for me to make this video. It just seems so fun making your own versions of them. Well, we're done. What do you think of the results? Do you like them? Will you change anything about them? Comment your opinions because I really want to know. If you want to see part 2, don't forget to like and subscribe because part 2 is only really coming out if this video receives good feedback. So don't be shy to comment it and leave a like. This being said, thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos here. See you in the next one.